welcome to Unity of Charlotte. If you're here in the sanctuary, if you're at home on Zoom, we welcome you. And my name is Reverend Jim Ernst, and I am co-minister here with Reverend Lisa Herklotz, and we welcome you here today. Let us go ahead and say our mission statement together. So please, out loud. Unity of Charlotte is the place where we nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. Absolutely, love, grow, and serve. If you are here for the first time, we would love to simply give you a welcome, a little bit of a round of applause. Just simply raise your hand if you're here for the first time. There's a couple over here, yay. And there's another in the middle here, yes. Anybody else? Awesome, so we got 3 new folks here. Welcome. Join us after the service. Ask us questions about Unity of Charlotte specifically, or the Unity movement in general, and we will try and answer those questions for you. And we will get to know you a little bit better as well. And we do have, there it is, the welcome packet is coming around. You will receive one of those, which has information about us as well. To know what's going on in general within Unity of Charlotte, we have many different ways of doing that. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide, and that is the website and the newsletter and the Facebook. You see I'm in time with this, and YouTube and bulletin board. I did it. So we've got all those different ways. The bulletin board is always the latest and most up-to-date, and it also has QR codes and all that good stuff. So those are the 5 different ways you can stay up-to-date with whatever we are doing today. Relocation. Information on our relocation. July, so we are here in this Wesley building through July 18th, our first day in our new spot, which is St. Luke's Lutheran Church. I looked up St. Luke's on Google the other day. There is a St. Luke's Catholic. There is a St. Luke's something else. Make sure you look up St. Luke's Lutheran Church on Park Road. Park Road. When you get there, you're going to drive into the parking lot, and you're going to see the red doors. That's where we're going to hold our meeting. Is through there. The chapel with the red doors is what you're looking at. 3200 Park Road. The new service time is changing. We have access to that chapel anytime we want. We got some feedback from congregants. We got feedback from the guy delivering newspapers. We got feedback from everybody, and the board decided 11 a.m. was the best time that served this congregation. So 11 a.m. starting on August 4th, and we look forward to that as well. If you can help us with moving, packing and moving, please come see us. Either of the reverends or Martin is in charge, is the one in charge of that. Please see us and volunteer for helping us in that move as well. Absolutely. Let's move into prayer at this time. So I invite you to make yourself comfortable. Close your eyes if that feels right. Breathe as we move from our head, that thinking, down into our heart, and feel that gratitude for the ability to meet here together as a congregation. To come together in love, to come together in grace. We are so grateful for each other, for this space, for this time that we have had together in this past year and so many months. We look forward to all of the things that are in store for us in the future. We look forward to that. We see divine order coming together in that, and we're so grateful. And we say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Amen. Our unity prayer of oneness together and out loud. There is one presence and one power in my life and universe, God, the good omnipotence. So now at this time, we do know we have family, we have friends, we have loved ones that may be in need of prayer. Now is the time to bring that energy, bring their name out here into this time, into this space. So I invite you to say out loud either their name or the situation. And we hold these names, we hold these situations in our hearts. And with affirmation, with that affirmative prayer that we have learned, we see these situations being blessed. And again, we are grateful. And with that, we say amen. We do have a prayer team that meets and receives requests. We have a prayer box that's out in the hallway. If you would like to be held in prayer, you can fill out a prayer request. We have a virtual prayer box on our website, so you can go onto our website and fill out that same type of form on our website. It again goes through the miracle of technology, through email and to our prayer team, and that is held as well. You're welcome to call Silent Unity, which is a Unity worldwide group that holds people in prayer as well. And you can get a live person if you want to call 816-969-2000 as well. So that is our prayer team, and we are so grateful for that prayer team. I'd like to invite up Fred and Ron today as we read our daily word.
Today's word is world peace. Affirming the divinity of all the world's people, I envision world peace. Peace is meant for every person of every faith in every land. Today I look beyond the news of the world, reports of strife and conflict, even meditation and unforgiveness in my own heart, and find the peace of God. I believe the desire for lasting peace is within each person's heart. In prayer, I affirm the truth and envision this desire growing stronger among the peoples of the world until peace can no longer be denied. It is our shared destiny to live in peace. When each person wants for all people what they want for themselves, harmony will blanket the earth. I affirm the peace I wish for myself is drawing in the hearts of others. In prayer, I see them safe and secure in the heart of God, forever at peace. Now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times in all ways. Lord, be with all of you. Philippians chapter 6, verse 16.
Gracias, Ronaldo. Paz mundial es la palabra diaria por hoy. Y está milagro, Federico, también. Afirmo la divinidad de todos e imagino el mundo en paz. Todas las personas de todas las religiones y todos los lugares del mundo me serán paz. Hoy miro más allá de las noticias de los conflictos e incluso de la falta de perdón en mi propio corazón y encuentro la paz de Dios. Creo que en el corazón de cada persona existe el deseo de una paz duradera, En oración afirmo esta verdad y visualizo en que deseo será cada vez más fuerte entre los pueblos del mundo el hasta que ya no se puede negar la paz. Nuestro destino común es vivir en paz. Cuando cada ser hermano pida para todas las personas lo que deseo para sí mismos, la armonía cubrirá la tierra. Afirmo para los demás la misma paz que deseo para mí. Los veo a salvo y seguros en el corazón de Dios. La Escritura, que el Señor de paz mismo, en la paz siempre y en toda circunstancia. Que el Señor esté con todos ustedes. 2 Tesalonicenses 3:16. Gracias.
Okay, 2001, a movie came out called Waking Life. Anybody heard of it? It's one of those pretty indie, esoteric, not mainstream films. All right, well, the movie was a kind of an animated on top of the real film. It was a different kind of animation. And it's about a young man who is traveling from place to place into these scenarios and situations where there are people talking about and discussing the meaning of life and the universe. Okay, so kind of out there stuff. And I loved it. One of the things that came to me, there's a quote I want to share with you. We're talking today about endings and beginnings. And the way they filmed it and you can kind of see the people and the places beneath the animation and then just did sketching over it. So it was kind of real, but then also surreal at the same time. And while you're getting this visual of this very surreal movement, you're hearing all these conversations about the meaning of the universe and the meaning of life. And I loved watching it because it made my brain kind of loosen. It loosened up my mind to expecting things to look and be a certain way, right? Because in order to get into the film, you sort of had to let go of what normal looks like. And it was a really cool experience. Now, the quote I'm going to share with you is from I think they called him the carboat man. He was a taxi driver in LA, but his taxi was a boat with wheels. And his message was about flowing, going with the flow. And here's the quote that I have not forgotten to this day. You want to go with the flow. The idea is to remain in a state of constant departure while always arriving. Just let that sink in. To be in a state of constant departure while always arriving. He goes on to say, which made me giggle a little, it saves on introductions and goodbyes. It saves on introductions and goodbyes. So pretty tongue-in-cheek, but the idea that we are constantly departing and arriving at the same time is what divine flow really is. But in our life, we tend to think that we know we're all experiencing beginnings and endings. And we have a tendency to think that we know when the ending is and when the beginning is. And sometimes it appears that way. But in fact, they're really simultaneous, because with every end is a beginning. With every beginning, there's an end, and then another beginning. And we call this the divine flow of life. But the only way to really experience that is to allow it into your consciousness. So I know from talking to many of you that a lot of us have experienced the death or loss of a close relative lately. And I just experienced the loss of my aunt, who is also my godmother. That was back in February, but Reverend Jim and I went to New York a couple of weeks ago to attend the memorial service. And it was just beautiful. It was just really beautiful. But I have a pretty big family, and this is the New York Italian side of my family. So I'll give you a picture of how loud it is when we come together. And after the memorial service, we went over to my aunt's place, and luckily it was a gorgeous day, so we all got to sit outside. So there was probably, 30 of us there or something, all ages. And everybody sat around in little groups chatting and talking, and so I would go to one group and I would sit, and what I realized is I was just there to listen. And I got to sit with my niece and hear all about what's going on in her life. She's in her mid-20s, and there's a lot going on in relationship and her career and where she's living and moving. I got to talk to my nephew and listen to him, and he owned a business with a partner that he's selling and starting his own business, and the big changes in his life. I talked to, for probably the first time in depth, my two out of the three triplets who are my second cousins. And they all just graduated college. So they're moving on to this big unknown of what their next step is going to be in their career. And I left that memorial service with this sense of the ongoing, doesn't matter what part of life you're in, it doesn't matter what age you are, there's always endings and new beginnings. Every conversation I had was about an ending and a beginning. And it was exciting, but it's also a little scary. It's unknown, and they all had their own experiences and feelings about it. But it was profound to me because I left going, wow, this is what life is. And I know each one of you in your own personal lives have some beginnings and endings and beginnings going on. We, as a church community, as Unity of Charlotte, clearly have a lot of endings and beginnings happening for us. So I wanted to talk about that a little today. I was inspired and moved to go back to this book by Robert Brummett, Finding Yourself in Transition. Many of you may remember we talked a bit at the beginning of the year, and because it's all about understanding that we're always in a state of transition, and every transition is an opportunity for spiritual growth. Every change is an opportunity for us to grow spiritually. It depends, however, on how we're navigating the journey. How do you find yourself navigating this journey of hellos and goodbyes? That brings me to talking about what Robert Brummett so beautifully expresses in this book. Robert Brummett, by the way, is a Unity ordained minister and teacher, and he has been very foundational in the teaching of other ministers, and also does a lot of spiritual counseling. He talks about transition as a process. And we know that somewhere in this process is letting go of the past. And the past could be just yesterday. Sometimes we think of the past as being like years ago, but the past could be just yesterday. If there's something I'm carrying with me from yesterday, then it may be hindering my experience or ability to experience what today is offering, what this moment's offering. And he talks about this beautifully. So looking a little bit at our own spiritual community right now, we are very much in a strong, rather profound stage of transition. Not just because we came through COVID. This spiritual family has come through COVID, which, by the way, profoundly changed everyone and quickly. Nobody came through that without being changed. So there's one big transition that we have been working our way through. Then, after not having a minister, you hired 2 new ministers. And you got Reverend Jim and myself. And we've been here for about 18 months. And it's been a very powerful time of coming together and building a new foundation. Because whether we like it or not, we're in a new place. Wouldn't you agree? Those of you who've been with Unity at Charlotte a long time must see there's a lot of things that are now new. And for those just coming in, we love it because you're adding your newness to our newness. But there's always a point in time in this process, and I have experienced this personally in my own life many times, when the first part of the process is exciting and it's new and you're very hopeful. And then there's this period you reach where it's like you realize, oh, this isn't going to happen overnight. That there's a process that has to unfold. And it's more than just a mechanistic process of step by step. So when we move, there's a mechanistic process of moving. We have to order a moving truck. We have to pack the boxes. We have to get the boxes moved there, right? There's an order and a sequence to that must unfold in a particular way, or it could be pretty chaotic. That's a very mechanical look at a transition, but there's a much deeper place that's actually going through this transformation. And that's what we want to talk about today. There's a deeper transition going on that is transforming not only each of us individually, but is transforming who we are as Unity of Charlotte, how we come together, and how we express these amazingly powerful spiritual principles that we have come together to learn and understand and live. Take a breath. I need a breath. It's incredibly exciting, but there's always a moment when it will get challenging. Always. When those old fears come up. And I can think in my own life. I wanted to move out to California when I was first at college. And I knew I wanted to be there. I was living in Texas. My first job I had, they sent me to California for 3 weeks, and by the time I left, I said, oh, I am moving here. This is my place. And I knew it so deeply that I really hardly ever questioned it. But I knew I didn't want to go without a job, and I didn't know how to do that. So I just kept doing what I was doing in the moment, building my career, getting through my job, doing a good job, getting to know people. And every now and then I go, yeah, I want to end up in California, but I don't know how that's going to happen. And then I'd hit little bumps and think, oh, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen because, well, my own fears come up. How am I going to move to California on my own? How am I going to support myself? It's expensive out there. Lots of the fears come up. But then I would just see myself in California and go, I don't know, but I'm excited and I want to be there. And like a year and a half later, seemingly out of the blue, I was asked to go work a convention and do some demos with the company. And I was doing it with a couple of managers who were part of a new computer group, and they were looking for people to join their team. And where do you think they were located? In LA. And they offered me a job. And I went, oh, how'd that happen? But there were plenty of times along the way that I started sabotaging myself out of my own fear, right? Because as soon as I'm afraid, I would start looking at all the ways I was limited. Because that's what fear does. The emotion of fear creates a sense of a limited perspective. And then we think that's all there is. But the cool thing about that is it's easy to change. Because as soon as I remember this is just fear, and I let that go, and I remember my desire, then it opens up my perspective, and suddenly it's all about possibility. All about possibility. So a very big part of this process has to do with letting go. And I have a quote that many of you have probably heard before. This is in Mark 2:22, and this is Jesus teaching to his disciples about putting new wine into old wineskins. And the quote is, "And no one puts new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the wine will burst the skins. The wine is lost, and so are the skins. But one puts new wine into fresh wineskins." Now, a little bit of history about this. In ancient Israel, people would fill a goat skin with wine and allow it to ferment. So the fermentation process creates gas. So it would stretch and bloat this skin in that process of fermenting and becoming wine. When they drank the wine, they tossed the skin. Because if you tried to put new wine into the old skin that was already stretched, it wouldn't be, the gases would have nowhere to stretch. There was no way for that to allow it to make space for the fermentation process. And it would just, they would start to stretch, try to stretch it, and it would just burst. So this is what he was referencing. But what he's really saying is that what I'm teaching you, what I'm telling you, the truth that I'm bringing you, the only way it integrated into your consciousness is if you let go of the old and allow for the new. Going back to the idea of this movie, the reason I liked watching is, as I said, is it just didn't fit my expectations of how things look or feel or move, and it made my mind kind of soften and open. My mind sort of open to these, and they could hear these ideas at a deeper level. And that's where we want to hear these truth principles. The truth principles, our very first principle says, there is but one power and presence in this universe, and it is God, the omnipotence. And everything else we believe is based on this one principle. Because if that's all is in this universe, then I am good. And I can manifest that good because I am of God, of divine spirit, of holiness, of sacredness, of divinity. Robert Brummett puts it quite simply. To live is to grow is to change, and to change is to die to the old. In order to change, we must be willing to let go of the old. But always in this process, as we're moving along, because it is a process, there's going to be moments when the past pops up or fear pops up. And we have to be ready for that. So for me, it's always about stepping back and remembering there's a bigger picture. And we're in this bigger picture. If we take a snapshot of just what it looks like today, we can't see the growth. We can't see where we're transforming. But if we step back and allow for a bigger perspective, then instead of reacting to this moment with fear, we go, oh, we're in the flow, we're in the process. My trust is in the fact that there is a single creative power in this universe that is acting and living and expressing in and through me and in and through everyone. One of the things I realized for myself when I start to look back and go, well, this letting go part is part of letting go of past history. It's letting go of past grievances, any unfulfilled ideas of what we thought we should be or wanted to be, any unfulfilled ideas of what we thought Unity of Charlotte was supposed to be. If we can let all that go, we can open up to allow something to recreate itself here. We have our mission, we have our principles, the change. How we express them together could be anything. One of the things that helps me is to remember that the lessons and opportunities of those times that are in the past, that they're done, they're complete. Do you ever have a happy golden memory of how it was back when? Those are great memories. You don't have to let those go. There was actually in my mind, in the Course in Miracles, it says eventually, as you practice forgiveness and letting go of the grievance, you don't lose the memory. It just becomes a happy memory instead of an angry or fearful or grievous one. So all your happy memories of the golden days of Unity of Charlotte or other times in your life are beautiful. Feel the joy of those, but also recognize they're done. If we try to keep recreating what was, it'll never feel the same. And you know why? We're different. I'm different. If I try to go back and live in LA now, I can tell you it will not be the same experience. There is no part of me that wants to go back to LA. When I was 20, it was fun. And I have a lot of happy memories, but to go back to LA now, no, because I'm different. And what I'm expressing is different. So love those beautiful memories. And then open up to what new memories can we make together? We've got a great opportunity where Wesley is one of the happiest memories I will have of Unity of Charlotte. Being here in this space with this congregation of people and Wesley United Methodist. One of the happiest memories I will carry with me about Unity of Charlotte. But it's done. And I can say goodbye and thank you and feel joy and gratitude and move into St. Luke's with the same excitement of, wow, what is this going to look like? What's this going to look like? And I invite you all to come join me because you're a part of that experience. You are what makes it Unity of Charlotte. All right. So I have one other quote I wanted to share from Robert Brummett's book. And it's a reminder to be willing to trust the divine wisdom and order inherent within the process. Every transition has a process of divine order it is following. Not just the mechanistic process of getting things done in the world, which is certainly there, but a deeper, more profound spiritual transformation that is happening within us individually and collectively as we move forward. He goes on to say, trying to force our personal will on the process is usually counterproductive and may be very damaging. Fear will only be a block. Fear will bring about limitation and anxiety and stress, and it'll slow down the process. It won't stop it because life is growth. But if we can trust that this process is in place and that this process is spirit-directed and guided, that we are divinely inspired and supported and loved in each and every step of the way, then I'm happy to let my personal will go and find that flow. I know it might be a little scary, There might be moments of what's going to happen? How long is it going to take me to drive there? Will I be able to find it? Is there space for us? Come to the town hall, please, because we have lots of things to share with you. So you feel a part of this move. This is about you too. And we want you as involved as possible, because I think you'll be very excited when you see the space we're going to and when you meet the people we're going to be working with. But finally, I would just leave you with this affirmation. If you have your own affirmation, I welcome you to use that. But what I landed on for this is that knowing God is my source, I trust divine order is unfolding perfectly. And you can use that in whatever situation you have going on in your life. As a matter of fact, let's take a moment to just move within. I know we're running late because of the time, but we'll just do take a quick moment to turn within. I invite you to sit up. If it's comfortable, put your feet flat on the ground, your hands in your lap, and just take a nice deep breath in. And a long, slow exhale out. Let that breath bring you into this present moment of hellos and goodbyes. Let's take another deep breath in together. And a slow exhale out with a sigh. Let yourself relax and just let go for this next couple of moments. Feel the body move into a place of ease. And in your mind, bring your awareness to a place of transition that you feel you're at. Whatever that may be. And as you think about that and picture it, feel the energy around it. Feel a space around it. Almost like a bubble. And then gently move that bubble down to your heart. Our thoughts deal with the mechanistic part of the process. Our heart is open to the deeper transformative process that's happening within us. And feel a sense of love, of acceptance, of what is, just as it is. Reminding yourself, God is my source. I trust that divine order is unfolding perfectly. And just hold that situation in that light for the next moment. And still holding this beautiful space for this transformation, this transition happening in your life. Take a nice, deep, cleansing breath in again. And a slow, gentle exhale. Gently release that vision. And begin to move your awareness back into your body. but know that you are always divinely supported and loved through every step of whatever the transition may look like. And feel a sense of comfort and peace. And maybe even joy at the possibilities of what is next. In gratitude, appreciation, and absolute joy, I claim this to be so, and so it is.
Now is the part of our service we have the opportunity in this offering part of our service. For we know that as we give, we also receive. It is through your generous gifts that Unity of Charlotte exists and moves forward and thrives within this community. So please, I invite you, if you have a gift now, hold that gift in your hand. If that's cash, if that's check. If you give electronically, hold the image, as we say this blessing together. So, out loud and together. Joyously I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. The light of God surrounds us. We are light. The love of God enfolds us. We are love. The power of God protects us. We are power. The presence of God watches over us, and we are presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.